Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are taking it back to basics again today, adding another video to the playlist. So in today's video we're talking all about eyeshadow. I got so many requests to do a back to basics all about eyeshadow, and I was like, oh, eyeshadow is such a huge topic to talk about. But if you guys stick around for this video, I talk all about my favourite eyeshadow palettes. I talk about the do's and don'ts of eyeshadow, common eyeshadow mistakes and how to fix them. So if you guys want to know everything there is to know about eyeshadow, please keep watching. So I personally feel like eyeshadow palettes have honestly exploded in the last few years. I feel like there's a new eyeshadow palette out like nearly every month from a new brand. So I did pick out some of my favourite palettes to share with you guys, some all different price ranges and different types of palettes, from neutrals to a bit more colourful. So if I had to just recommend you one eyeshadow palette, it would be the Morphe 39A. One is a bit more affordable, but you also get such a big bang for your buck. It comes with 39 eyeshadow colours. Oh my god, look how battered and bruised my palette is. I love this palette so much because it has such a range of colours. I love this row here in the middle. It's got like a really nice range of transition shades. It's got pops of colour in there. It's got some blue, it's got some browns, some greens. If you want to try a little bit of colour, but the colours in here are not too intimidating. They're like quite wearable, smoky eye colours, I think, anyways. So another eyeshadow palette that I really love because I love pops of colour is from bPerfect in collaboration with Stacey and Marie. And you guys can see in here it's got loads of bright shades, so this palette's not going to be for everybody, but if you do want to experiment with a little bit more colour in your life, this is such a nice palette because it still has a couple of neutral shades in here. It's got a bit more like neutral kind of golds. It's got like a really nice olive green. So pretty, and the pigment in this is amazing. The only thing for me is when an eyeshadow palette doesn't have a black, I'm like, oh, I could never travel with you, because I need a black in my eyeshadow palette because I actually use black eyeshadow all the time. I'll show you guys later in my demo of how I use black eyeshadow in nearly all of my looks. It's such a shame because that's such bright colours, and I'm like, why did you not include a black? I don't know why. If you are quite new to eyeshadows and you want to go for a palette that's really wearable, these two are really nice. This is the Naked Heat palette, and then this is the Soft Glam from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So the Naked palette has a really nice range of matte and shimmers in there, and the formula of this is so nice and creamy. I love the shade called Ashes. It's like a really nice dark plummy kind of shade, so really good on the lower lash line inside the crease. The way that I judge a palette is that I look at transition shades, dark shades, and if it has a lot of versatility to it. I want to be able to create a couple different types of smoky eyes. There's some eyeshadow palettes that all of the colours look so similar and there's no gradient to it. Like, you need to go from like light to dark, you know. So the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, I've actually done a tutorial of this on my channel already, and this is what it looks like on the inside. It has a bit more like pops of gold colour. It also has an amazing black in here as well. It's got amazing transition shades. I think this is the nicest palette that they've brought out. It's a really nice mixture of like cool browns, warm browns. It has really nice mixture of transition shades, not just one light transition. And it also has like a couple of shimmers in there, some golds. And then I'm also going to talk about BH Cosmetics as well. This is the Ultimate Matte 42 eyeshadow palette. So this eyeshadow palette has quite a few pops of like corally kind of colours here. It has a few greens, a few blues, a few yellows. So it has a little bit of everything. It's also got a black as well. I do find with BH Cosmetics their eyeshadows are quite chalky, and sometimes I find with BH Cosmetics it doesn't stick onto the eye, and with palettes like this, sometimes it's like a hit and miss. Some eyeshadows are really good, some eyeshadows are kind of like wishy-washy, some just like go super patchy when you try to pack it on. But if you are a beginner and you want to try out loads of different eyeshadow palettes, if you're a makeup artist, I would definitely recommend maybe starting off with these big palettes because you get such a variety of shades inside your kit. And then also, before we get into the tutorial, I did want to talk about the new sensation of liquid eyeshadows and what is the faff about liquid eyeshadows. Are they good? Are they worth it? So correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Stila was the one that blew up the world of liquid eyeshadows. So this is one of my favourite shades. It's called Kitten Karma, and these are the Magnificent Metals. I remember the first time using this, I was like, wow, this is so nice and quick. So if you're one of those people that have no patience but you want a big like bang in like 2 seconds, you would love these Stila Magnificent Metals. They literally just come in like a doe foot applicator like this, and you literally just sweep it all over your eye. I've used this all up. Mine's all finished now. So if you love glitter, or if you're going from day to night and you want to change your eyeshadow up really, really quickly, the magnetic metals are really good. Okay, so I'm also going to recommend some eyeshadow brushes, some brushes maybe to avoid, and what brushes you should get for your eye shape. So we're going to zoom into the demo now. I know you guys like it when you get zoomed in, so come on now. Okay, so I hope you guys can see I have my plain bare eyelid here. You guys can see I've got like dark circles around here, whereas on this eye I have already put on my concealer, my foundation, everything. And normally I always bring the concealer and foundation all over the lid, so it literally blanks out any of the dark circles. A lot of times I see a lot of people not put any concealers on their eyes and stuff. I think it's because people get scared of their eyeshadow creasing, but if you put on eyeshadow directly on top of like bare skin, that's how you're bound to get patchiness. Your eyeshadow is not going to be vibrant, so make sure you prime your eyelid. So you can either prime it with some concealer, foundation and powder, and that's how I normally prime my eyes. But there are some other primers out there. So there's one from MAC which is called Soft Ochre, and these are the little paint pots. And they do loads of different colours as well. So depending on your skin tone, there's some darker ones, there's also some lighter ones and more pinky ones as well. There's also a new sensation of eyeshadow primers, which is from P.Louise. So they come in like 4 different sizes. There's like a tiny one, a medium one, an even more medium one, and an extra, extra large one. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do with this large one. Like, can it just be a primer for my face? I don't know. But this eyeshadow primer I really like when I'm more packing on bright eyeshadow colours. I don't really feel the need to use these primers whenever I have more of a neutral eye. So normally day to day I never really use an eyeshadow primer, but for the sake of this tutorial I'm going to go in with a Soft Ochre paint pot on one eye, and I'm just going to use a flat shader brush. And I'm just going to like pat this onto my eye. I mainly want this eyeshadow base on my lid. It's also going to help me for when I pack the eyeshadow on my eyelid. I'm literally going to show you like probably one of the most basic eyeshadow techniques. So perfect for beginners out there. Okay, so we're going to start off with the don't side first. So we're going to be going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette today. I feel like a lot of people will probably have a palette like this in their kit, if not this one. It's literally just like quite a generic eyeshadow palette. It's got some shimmery shades, some golds in here. So a lot of people probably just start off by using a brush that comes inside of an eyeshadow palette. So this came in with a Naked Cherry palette, and most of the times they are synthetic brushes. I personally don't like synthetic brushes when it comes to blending out eyeshadow. I find it blends out super harsh. So a lot of times people will go in with like a dark eyeshadow. So they'll go in with something like this, and they just think, oh, this colour is nice. They'll just show it out inside their crease here. So they'll normally start and like work it into the crease, and they'll literally just go back and forth, windshield wiper motions. They might even take a little bit of the darker brown as well. So they'll normally kind of whack on the darker shade first, and they'll go inside of the crease and go back and forth like this. So bearing in mind, this sultry shade here is a shimmer colour. You never ever want to put a shimmer inside of the crease. When I see people do it, I'm like, oh, it just doesn't look good, girl. It just looks like shimmer is just everywhere, all up to your brow. I personally only put shimmer on my eyelid, but when it comes to the crease, I love matte eyeshadows. Never neglect matte eyeshadow, guys, because matte eyeshadows is what is going to make your look super smooth. I find with shimmer eyeshadows that goes inside the crease, it just literally looks like a harsh line because it has loads of reflective pigments in there. You want it to fade really, really nicely because you don't want shimmer to go all up to your brow bone, you know? I'm actually quite blessed because I have a lot of space between my eyelid and my eyebrow. I know a lot of people don't normally have as much space as me, so you always have to take that into consideration. What eye shape do you have? Do you have a lot of space in between your eyes here? Do you have a hooded eyelid? Because that will depend on what type of brush you use. So for me personally, I've got such a big space here, I can get away with using a brush like this. But if you've got some teeny tiny small eyelids, you don't want to go with a brush like this because this will take up probably like the whole of your damn lid. So I always like to remember, the bigger the brush, the lighter the shade should be. This big brush here should never ever touch these dark eyeshadows here. It should only be touching these light shades here because we want this big brush to be like a diffuser. This is kind of like your erasing brush. So everyone should get a natural fluffy brush like this. I also always recommend a brush like this. So you guys can see it slowly goes to like a little taper to the top of it, and this will help control where exactly I want the eyeshadow. And then then the bristles around the taper will help blend out exactly where I put the eyeshadow. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 brush. If you have a smaller eyelid, you want to go in with something a bit smaller, like this one. It's still the same shape, it has still a taper to it. So when I want to go for a smoky eye, I always start off with a transition shade. So here we have orange soda, and we also have burnt orange. I'm going to go in burnt orange. And then I'm just going to put this inside of the crease first. And this is just going to be the base between the eyeshadow that I put on here and then my brow bone shade. I want it to have like a soft fade. So I go like maybe 1 or 2 shades a bit darker. So I hope you guys can see by me just doing the same motion going back and forth, but now it's in a matte shade. It just blends a lot nicer. It just fades into the crease a bit better, and it just helps deepen up this shadow here. So it makes me look like I've got more of like a socket, even though your girl doesn't have a socket, you know. So I'm also focusing the colour on this outer corner here. So just by starting off with this light shade in my crease, I can slowly start to go darker. And when I go darker, I can go a little bit more precise. I always want to keep this transition shade a little bit higher, like almost up to my brow nearly. I'm not actually going in like on my brow bone, you know, I'm kind of blending it up towards there. And also what's good to remember is that the first place that you put your brush is where the most pigment is going to be. Whenever I pick up product, I'm tapping the eyeshadow. I'm not like going like this. If I go like that, you get loads of fallout everywhere. You guys see my brush is like so loaded now, and that's how people get so much fallout. Always tap off the excess. And remember, the first place that you put the brush, that's where the darkest is. So I always start off by putting the brush back into the crease, and then I slowly blend inwards. See, so much better. Like the soft transition is already there, and we haven't even built up the dark shade yet. But because I keep putting my brush here, this bit has most of the eyeshadow, and then whatever's left on my brush, that's when I fade it inwards. I fade it upwards a little bit, because now there's like hardly anything on my brush anymore, because the majority of it went in this section. Okay, so next up, we're going to put some eyeshadow on the actual eyelid. So on the don't side, people will go in with any brush that looks like this, and they'll go in with maybe something like glistening, and then they'll literally just like sweep it on the eyes like this. Oh my god, I've got so much. Can you guys see all that fallout? Oh, it's giving me anxiety. So, you don't want to do that, because you guys can see I've got so much fallout on my eyes. You can't even see where the light is. You can't see where the dark is. It just looks so like muddled. There's no depth to the eye. Instead, what you want to do is you want to get a small little brush like this. And you can either go for natural hair or synthetic hair. Synthetic brushes are really good when you want to pack on colour. If you ever want to pack on something, that's when you go for synthetic, because it picks up more product. If you want something to be a softer, more like feathery kind of look, that's when you go for the natural hair bristles, which is why you use them for outside the crease, because you want that bit to be soft and fluffy. But on the eyelid, we want to pack on the punch, and we want it to be like, oh, nice and shimmery on the eyelid, you know. Okay, so we're gonna go in with a bit of that glistening shade, and you want to go for a smaller brush, guys. That big ass brush that I used earlier, oh hell no, girl, look how big this damn is. Oh no, girl, no. And I'm gonna pack on like this. So I'm not sweeping and going back and forth, because when you sweep and go back and forth, you end up making it really dull looking like this. If you pack it on, hope you guys see this colour is a lot more vibrant and it's a lot brighter. One, because we use the eyeshadow primer, but the way that I'm applying it, I'm literally like tapping. And I always bring in this colour just about like 3/4 of the way. I always want this bit to be nice and smoky. I never really bring out shimmer shades all the way till the end. So another trick that I like to use to blend in eyeshadow is I go in with a clean brush. This brush is not even that clean. It's kind of stained up a little bit, but there's actually no eyeshadow. I'm not picking up any extra eyeshadow. If you guys want a good brush set and you don't have any eyeshadow brushes, definitely look into Zoeva. They're not really cheap, and they're not really expensive, but they're really good quality brushes. I can see a little bit of like a little harsh-ish line of where the matte colour is and the shimmery shade is, and I want that to look really seamless. So I'm using my brush with nothing on it, and I'm just blurring that line. So I'm just going around the edge, and you can also blur out your transition as well. And I literally got rid of harsh eyeshadow edges. Also, I go in between these two shades because I want it to be like a soft transition to fade into each other like that. I'm going to also show you how I deepen up the crease by using a black shade, and why I love black eyeshadow so much. So I'm going to go in with the brush that I used earlier from Zoeva, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of the black. But what I like to do is I never use the black just by itself unless I'm going for like a black smoky eye. I always use the black to deepen up the other darker shades. So I'll dip my brush once inside of the black and then twice inside of the other colour. So I literally do like 2, 1. Do like a little mixture on my brush. And a lot of people find black really hard to like blend into the other eyeshadows. But if you just do like one little dab, it just brings the look so much more to life. It makes the contrast look really, really good. It makes the crease look deeper. I just love it. I just love black eyeshadow so much. I'm using that brush again, and because it's got that taper, I'm keeping the darker shade a bit more concentrated now. So I'm not going to be blending as high as I did with the transition shade, because obviously the shade's darker and I don't want it to be dark all the way out to my eyebrow. I just want the crease section to be a bit deeper. And then now I'm just picking up this mulberry by itself with no black, and then I'm just using it to just fade in that transition colour. So we're going basically from black to like dark brown to that transition shade. And I always mix my eyeshadows as well. So I can take a bit of mulberry, can take a bit of this, can go into a bit of burnt orange, and I mix it all onto my brush. And then when I put it on my eye, it just helps everything to blend in so much better, because it's kind of like mixed up on my brush already. It's like a little concoction. And then you can honestly keep going. You can make the black go out a bit more. You can make even this bit look even smokier by adding more black. So you can literally just keep repeating that process until you're happy with how smoky it is. Okay, so we're going to work onto the bottom lash line now, because a lot of people kind of struggle with the bottom lash line. They don't know how far to take their lower lash line. So something that I see a lot of people do on this side, and it like terrifies me, is they literally will go in with like a black, or they'll go in with like a really dark brown. This eyeshadow palette is so fallouty already. Like, it's just dropped a shitload of freaking pigment on my hand. And they'll literally like sweep it underneath, and they'll go like this. So instead, what I like to do is I like to use like a medium shade. So this is called Sienna. Always tap off the excess, guys. And then I like to just like look up, and I'm slowly going back and forth like this, and I'm just blending out the shade, because I want it to look super fluffy. I want it to look airbrushed, and I always want my lower lash line to connect into this kind of shade here. So I'll kind of repeat this process but on the lower lash line. And then what I like to do is I like to go in with a little bit of the transition shade. This is burnt orange. Tap off the excess, and this is just any fluffy brush, and I just blend out the edges of that, because I don't want any harsh lines at all. I want it to be really soft and really faded, and I even go around like a C as well, because I want this all to like fade in together. Okay, so normally I would just finish off this makeup look with some eyeliner. I'll probably put like a brown pencil inside my waterline as well. I'm just going to quickly show you guys how to kind of fix if you've done a harsh line like this. So what you want to do is get your little magic eraser brush. These are both from Morphe. Anything that's big, large and fluffy. So you guys see this has got a really harsh line. So what I like to do is take a transition colour. So we're going to go maybe for orange soda, because I want it to be quite light. I almost want it to be like a bonish colour. You can also do this with a face powder as well. Basically, I'm just going to go around the edges and start to erase it as much as I can. So let me actually go in with a face powder, because orange soda is quite an orange colour. What do you know is orange? Okay, so I'm going to go with the MAC Studio Fix powder in my foundation shade. Oh my god, look how much I've used this. And then this is just going to help blur out the edges, so you can basically just start again really. So now the harsh edge is gone, and then you can slowly start to go back in with a little bit of like a darker brown into your crease. Remember, use a smaller brush, nothing too big. And then you can slowly start to work in the crease again. So yeah, I fixed that up really, really quickly. And then you can even go with your finger and just pack on the lighter shade again. And then quickly as well, before I zoom back out and finish off the rest of my makeup, I'm going to show you guys how to get rid of fallout underneath here without having to take off all your makeup. To be able to do this technique of sweeping away fallout, your under eyes need to be powdered, okay? There can't be no like tacky concealer, no wet concealer, anything like that. It needs to be quite dry. And then I literally just take a clean brush, anything fluffy. You want nothing that's harsh, nothing synthetic, because it's going to push in the product. You want it to be a natural hair, like nice and fluffy. And I literally like go like this, and I lightly just sweep away. I'm not pushing it in. I'm not like rubbing it in. I'm literally like lightly just sweeping away the edges. Just like that. And then there's no more fallout. Sometimes as well, if I want to clean up this edge, like a lot of people normally use a wipe in and stuff, but because we have a foundation already, I literally just pinch the brush and I just clean it up. and you can lift your eyes as well by doing this little technique as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna even out my eyeshadow and stuff, and then I'll be back. Okay guys, so I just evened out all of my eye makeup as much as I could, and I actually applied on some brown eyeliner today. I used a new roller liner by Benefit. They just released this in black and brown, and it actually came out so well. It looks really nice and chocolatey. So if you guys like this 101 series all about eyeshadow, I have a whole series on my channel where I've done an eyeliner one, a foundation one, a highlight and contour one, and I'm about to film a highlighting one as well. So make sure that you are subscribed and turn on your notification bell so that you get a notification when my videos go live. I upload twice a week on my channel, and if you guys haven't followed me on all my other social media platforms yet, it's just xThuyLe on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, enjoy the bloopers. I just hit the mic. So I feel that foundation, I'm talking about foundation, bitch, it's eyeshadows. Trying to film in this house is a nightmare. I hear myself editing one room, there's fucking music downstairs. Oh my god, look at my hands. Oh my god, there's no more wipes as well. Literally scratching my bum cheek. Can you guys hear that? So satisfying. How glassy are my lips. My lip gloss is popping. My lip gloss is cool.